Maligayang araw ng mga lolo at lola. Okay guys, I'm standing just outside the Senior Citizen Recreational Facility here in Dagupan City in the Philippines. Just a couple of days before Grandparents' Day, yeah? So happy Grandparents' Day to all the grandparents out there, you know. Some of them have already passed on, but some of them are still with us. So today we remember all of them. Okay? Of course, not all grandparents are senior citizens. There are some people who become grandparents at a very young age, in their 40s, even some in their 30s. Guys, today's video is about grandparents and Grandparents' Day. Okay, so happy Grandparents' Day to all the grandparents out there. In particular, I am making this tribute to my grandparents who have already passed on. Would you believe it? This polo t-shirt or jersey I'm wearing here now, I got it as a gift from my paternal grandparents. I got this as a gift from my paternal grandparents more than 2 decades ago. But of course, I was already adult size. Maybe I was in my late teens. So it's still fitting me, and it's in a good condition. You see how much I appreciate the gifts from my grandparents. I kept it in a good condition till now. Okay, it's more than 20 years old, this t-shirt, and you see even the color has remained, right? Okay, so now let's talk about my grandparents. You can learn a little bit of my history here. My maternal grandmother was born on the 21st of February 1925 and passed on from this world in March of 2020. My maternal grandmother, Sylvia Josephine Joseph, happy granny, she spent most of her life in the house. She wasn't working because she wasn't well at times, but she was a really loving mother to her kids, and she was good making desserts for them, pastries, cooking, and sewing as well. So her family name was Joseph, and she also married a Joseph with the same family name, though they were not related. My maternal grandmother, Sylvia, she was of East Indian descent, her ethnicity. Of course, she was a Trinidadian born in Trinidad, but if we trace her roots, it would go back to India, though her parents were directly from Grenada. Okay. While she didn't have a formal job, she used to take care of animals at home. She had her chickens, and they would lay the eggs. So they had homegrown chickens and fresh eggs in the morning, and They would also grow food crops in the yard. So yeah, she was good with the basics of life. My maternal grandfather, which is my mother's father, was born on the 5th of July 1916 and passed on from this world in 1995. I know my maternal grandfather had some sort of mix in him. Maybe it was European or some kind of Indian. So Papa Joe, as we would call him, his name was Gilbert Fitzgerald Joseph, and he was a policeman. So that's my maternal grandfather. He was a policeman. That was his work. He would work in different locations. They would post him in different locations across the country. At one time, he was given a post in Tobago, the sister island of Trinidad. Guys, my paternal grandmother, which would be my father's mother, Ira Webster Banfield, was born on the 30th of January 1927 and passed on from this world on the 12th of February 2008. Was born as Ira Webster. Okay, and then she later married Fitzroy Banfield. Um, Her background, her dad was Paul, and her grandfather was from Great Britain. Yeah, so they carried the family name Webster. Her mother now had roots in Venezuela. My grandmother worked as a nurse. She was a nurse for, but she eventually resigned the position and was a housewife for most of her life. Yeah, she liked to cook. She liked to watch the soap operas. She liked to listen to the talk programs on the radio. All right, all the hot topics. And she was very good in sewing. She made some costumes for my brother already for Carnival. She was very good in that. And she had a sweet hand with her cooking. Yeah. My paternal grandparents were more well off than my maternal grandparents, financially speaking. And my grandfather, her husband, Fitzroy Banfield, he was a metal worker, very good working on the lathe with metals, and he also did welding. Yeah, so he made a good living in that profession. And in his earlier days, he taught that industrial arts with the metal works. And in his later years, he would do a lot of private jobs. Now, my paternal grandmother, meaning on the father's side, um, she was mixed, mixed race. So on her mother's side was the Venezuelan blood, and also she had some Amerindian in her. I believe it is the Carib. Yeah, that is the First Peoples. So in Trinidad, she would have been considered a red woman with soft hair. Yeah. Growing up, it was only me and my brother at the time. They're only grandkids, so they really spoiled us. We used to get all kinds of fast foods and soft drinks and snacks. So they really treated us well. Only later on, when I grew up, then they got their third grandson, my younger cousin. Um, but they treated us really well, and we really appreciated it. They had the opportunity to travel. They went to the United States and other Caribbean islands. So they had that experience. They had a passport. They had their visas, and they did a bit of traveling in their life. My paternal grandfather, Fitzroy Noble Banfield. He was born on the 7th of April 1925, and he passed on from this world on the 10th of March of 2013. I used to enjoy going down to his workshop, which he had on the bottom level of the house. They live upstairs, and in the lower level, he had his machine shop because he was a machinist. So I used to enjoy as a child going down there, watching him while he's doing his machining, etc. on the lathe. And he was helpful to me um, when I was doing some of my science projects later on in school, because he was good with his hands. Yeah. I had an opportunity which many people did not have or do not have. I was able to know all of my grandparents before they passed on. Though my maternal grandfather passed on while I was in my mid-teens, I was a teenager, but I still had good experiences with all of them. I got to learn something from each of them, and without them, I wouldn't be who I am today and where I am today and have all these accomplishments. Both of my grandfathers might be considered to be of African descent, but I know that my both of them had a mix, because my paternal grandfather, his mom had some Portuguese in her bloodline, and my maternal grandfather may have had some Indian or some other mix. My mom's parents were not able to travel and go to other countries, fly on a plane like my father's parents were able to. So they came from different backgrounds with different financial means, but all in all, everybody had a good life. come from a mixed background in terms of social background as well as ethnicity. Okay guys, thanks for watching today's video. Thanks for listening to a bit of
We
my
should
history.
remember our
I hope
grandparents.
you found it a bit
Without them,
informative.
we wouldn't be who we are today, genetically or morally.